So good morning, everyone. My name is Veronica, and as Honza said, I will be a moderator of this academic panel. It will be divided into two parts. In the first, our five academic panelists will present their papers, and each of them will have 10 minutes, and they will give their presentation in alphabetical order. In the second part, there will be a Q&A session, so that will be a space for you to ask your question. If you have any questions, please remember them or write it down and wait for the second part. The first speaker is Katerina Cizek from the United States, who will introduce 7 key threats AI poses to human creativity, from the erosion of ethics to the flattening of diversity. After that, Lucie Králová and Miriam Ryndová from the Czech Republic will present their project Future Memory Lab and their research AIrchive that is focused on the ethical dilemmas and AI prototype development for critical and innovative work with archival materials. Andreea Lăcătuș from Romania will talk about the issue of vanishing voices and the dilemmas of using deepfake technologies to reconstruct missing audio. Marta Materska-Samek from Poland will bring insights from the Polish film industry, showing how filmmakers grapple with the questions of whether AI is a threat or a collaborator. And in the end, Jan Motal from the Czech Republic will close up this panel with a presentation about ways filmmakers can reclaim creative control through open source tools and collective practice. So as you can see, our academic panel is quite diverse. So our panelists will map the ethics of AI and the use of AI from archives to deepfakes. They will focus on threats, possibilities, opportunities. And with that, I would like to welcome the first panelist, Kat Cizek, who will join us online.
And Teresa and Jan for this wonderful invitation to be with you all. Excuse me, it's very early in the morning. I'm here, actually, I live in Canada, but I work at MIT in Cambridge, Massachusetts, United States. So thank you again for inviting me. I'm really honored to be with all the panelists today. I'll be speaking about protecting human creativity from being flattened by AI. I'm basing this talk on deep collaborative research that our studio, Co-Creation Studio, has been doing with a human rights organization, media organization based in New York City called Witness. We've been doing this work since 2018. Just a little bit of background on myself. I'm actually a documentarian by trade. I worked at the National Film Board of Canada with emerging technologies and emerging media for over a decade before coming to MIT to co-found the Co-Creation Studio at MIT Open Documentary Lab, where I've been for about 10 years now. I just celebrated my 10-year anniversary last month. And I do this work with my dear colleague, Shireen Anlin, who is a creative technologist and also a documentarian, but now working at Witness in the technology branch there. For those of you who do not know Witness, it's an incredible organization that supports journalists and human rights defenders who use video and technology to protect and defend human rights around the world. And they really aim to center the Global South and the perspective from the Global South on these very, very global and transnational issues. They've done a lot of work alongside the work with us under the theme Prepare, Don't Panic, putting out many very relevant and quite timeless work. In particular, this deep fakery series was something that was the first thing that we did together. They publish op-eds and a lot of very regionalized editions of their work as well. You can see on the far right, this is the Southeast Asia edition of their deepfakes work. Over at MIT and the Co-Creation Studio, our aim is to bring together people from many different disciplines, backgrounds, walks of life, including artists, technologists, scholars, in order to really look at the intersection of nonfiction, emergent technology, social justice, and co-creative methods. And we've been doing this for many years now. The foundation of our work is in a book called Collective Wisdom, Co-Creating Media for Equity and Justice. You can see a wonderful blurb that Ai Weiwei, the artist rock star, who actually does a lot of collective work, and that's I think it's wonderful that he has blurbed our book because he's seen as this singular author, but in fact his work is fundamentally collective, and he gave us a wonderful blurb. And specifically, chapter 4 is called Plants, Animals, Gods, and AI. You can access this chapter along with every other chapter of the book through this QR code. So please feel free to take a picture here. We interviewed 30 artists back in 2018 who use AI in their work and asked them about the relationship that they have with technologies, in particular artificial intelligence. And their answers are quite interesting with regards to this co-creative question. So, with back to our partnership with Witness, the way we've tried to organize and frame our perspective on AI and documentary is through 3 lenses. These are, we find, often discussed separately and very rarely are brought together in one conversation. And so, of course, ethics and standards and policy is one area that we see a lot of writing and research happening. There's a question of the creativity, often framed in very, very polarized way, like, is it going to be the death of us all, or is it our liberation? And even just that framework is very problematic, as we'll talk about. And then finally, thanks to a lot of our colleagues in Hollywood in particular, who have challenged the efficiency narrative, the grand narrative that somehow AI is going to be more efficient in creative arts, has been challenged by unions and labor activists around the impingement and exploitation of humans, but also the environment. And so we try and bring all these conversations together around documentary. One of the ways we do so is in a column that we publish in Documentary Magazine. It's called The Synthesis. And we just had our new column come out a few hours ago around artificial intelligence slop. So this extreme dumping of AI materials online and our concerns around that. But I'm going to talk today specifically about one of our earlier columns, which is about to protect human creativity from being flattened by AI. We did this column. It was an adaptation of a submission that we did to the United Nations. They put a call out for the Human Rights Council Advisory Committee on Artificial Intelligence and Creativity. And they've recently actually published the results, which are very, very interesting. But our submission was a combination of our work with Witness and also with our friends at the Archive Producers Alliance, who have been doing some really groundbreaking work around best practices in archival documentary. This is a very big, long slide. I'm not going to go through everything, but as Veronica kindly mentioned, we identify 7 key risks to human creativity. The first is absence of ethical standards. The second is this power to seamlessly fabricate and alter media, which jeopardizes the evidentiary integrity of archives and historical records. We are concerned also about the extraction of human labor that is often behind the scenes and sold to us as some machine learning, but in fact, it's humans whose hands are very much hard at work in this industry and the AI industrial complex. This explosion of slop, so just tons of low effort, millions and millions of pieces of content that are flooding our systems, our platforms, and are confusing our ability to understand where things come from. The context collapse is one way that it's called. Bias baked into these systems, the disappearing human hand. So this threat to the very nature of storytelling. Instead of grappling with gaps in memory or footage, AI now fills in either at the sides of an image when we need to go to 16 by 9, or even deeply in the face or in the words of what is being sold as content. And finally, we frame the last and most important threat is the threat to consent and human dignity, using people's likeness without permission, and again, enabling new forms of exploitation and abuse. However, we want to stress that we're not against AI. This is a call for a different future. It's for a future in which AI serves humanity. It doesn't replace or undermine it. And we want to talk a little bit about also the responses that are already happening. I really want to emphasize, coming from North America to you all, that the European Union is doing some really, really fundamental work right now in terms of upholding transparency and copyright materials in the training data. And we're really looking to the European Union on a global front to do this defense work. We also stress that filmmakers and archivists are doing lots of work to set standards, especially the Archive Producers Alliance Best Practices for Gen AI in Documentaries, which I highly recommend to you. And finally, technologists, I think there's going to be some more talk about this later in this panel. There's just great work being done within the dominant technologies to opt out from these huge binding agreements that we're being asked to buy into. But there's also incredible open source technology being built as well, and closed system technology. One example, I just want to go through a few examples. This is an older one, but I think foundational for our field, a project called Welcome to Chechnya by David France, in which they used deepfake technology developed by technologist Ryan Larkey, to a beautiful project in which they wanted to protect the identities of their key subjects in the film, who were LGBTQ refugees from Chechnya. And so they used the faces of activists in New York City and put them on the faces of the subjects in order to both protect identity, but also give an emotional and human face to their subjects. So just a quick show of how this is a case study that we did at the studio with Ryan Larkey of his work and how he did it. So this is how he did it. Another great example of this kind of work is a film called Another Body, which examines the biggest use of deepfakes, which is against people identifying as women in the world with non-consensual sexual imagery. And this is a woman who was fighting back, and she's the central figure in the film. But again, to protect her identity, they deepfaked her face and I believe her voice as well. More recently, I had the pleasure of interviewing Raoul Peck for our column for his film called Orwell, 2 + 2 = 5. I highly recommend you see it. He uses artificial intelligence in the film to situate artificial intelligence and Gen AI within the context of authoritarian regimes, and he does so magnificently. I highly recommend this film. There are, as I mentioned, laws, platforms, and policies around the world that are starting slowly to try to catch up to some of these issues. And here are some of the frameworks at PBS. Partnership on AI is a wonderful global organization. There's work being done as well in Africa to look at it from the perspective of the Global South, as well as, of course, APA. I just want to end on the note of transparency and labels and watermarks. It's a very, very complicated issue. Although it is one of our tools, it's only one of them. And we've done some work at the studio with Witness to think about this. And I'm just going to show a little clip of this idea of spotting materials. So here you get a sense of how, without any labeling, you have to use your understanding of the context in the image. Here it's almost impossible. And what we've done in some of our work is looking at early cinema and how watermarks are actually nothing new as a tool for us to try and understand where things come from and who owns things. And I don't have time to show this clip, but we really delved into early cinema where studios put labels.
Well, the embedded trademark would depend.
Labels inside their sets, trying to retain control. Here are the 5 principles to try and mitigate the risks that we mentioned: is to embed consent in the heart of AI development, to create legally enforceable standards, create incentives, market-driven and policy-driven. We need to educate the public. Literacy is at an all-time low around these issues, and also to reclaim the space for spontaneity, imperfection, and resistance. Finally, I ask you to join our new working group on AI and documentary. This QR code will take you to a page to register. It's a monthly group where we feature speakers and hope to organize our community. So with that, I thank you very much and look forward to your questions.
Dobrý den. Hello, everybody. Thank you for this invitation, because we are not primarily academic people, but we would like mainly to join this community of individuals and groups who are trying to improve somehow the environment and including AI challenges we are working in. So that's why we decided, founded this Future Memory Lab, which is a platform for innovative work with archival materials. I'm Lucie Králová. I'm mainly documentary filmmaker, lecturer, dramaturgist, and what I really missed in my praxis was some space for much deeper, let's say, much complex possibility or a dialogue how to develop my films, how really our praxis look like, because as you are very well known, it's very much structured with film workshops and with gatekeepers, with like main with this film industry. Jo, tak ten druhý. This is our situation with film industry patterns. And I met Miriam with very similar feelings, so maybe you can introduce your attitude.
Hello, my name is Miriam Ryndová, and I'm working in the film industry since 2005. And I have been working for the biggest platform or cooperating with the festivals and also for training programs. And what I noticed that there are a lot of meetings and a lot of bleak promises coming out of the industry players. So we decided somehow to change the model how the filmmakers are attending the film industry.
So you can see which questions are for us essential. I think it's very well known, and it's what Katerina perfectly presented. So next one. And we know that we are in this situation with a lot of incredible film archives. So we decided to collaborate with the biggest private film history archive in Czech Republic, Jan Šikel's archive, and enable filmmakers to approach it and to make short movies from it. And also we help filmmakers dealing with whatever kind of archives to be part of our workshops, where we work on a dramaturgical level, but also with a lot of ethical dilemmas. And it's also how we end up with this AI research connected with ethics. Může se to nějak posunout? Pardon, ať to máme. If it's possible to. Yeah, thank you. This is perfect. You can see that we are trying also to set up kind of collaborative, non-hierarchical space, which is mainly interdisciplinary based. So we are not open only for filmmakers themselves, but also from people from completely different art fields, but also researchers, like mainly anthropologists, philosophers, but also people or researchers who are dealing with ethics and obviously also these AI challenges. And we would like to speak about innovative ways. What does it mean? This this innovation actually. It's not something we can just take it for granted and to write to some fund and grant submissions. We really try to understand practically how we can solve this. And for us, it's mainly the time we need. It's very base, but for us, it's more and more essential commodity. Because, for example, now we are running our workshop. It's incredible pressure we are in, and what you can help or how you can create this environment is really to take creators together with people from other disciplines and enable kind of inspirational, non-hierarchical place somewhere out. So you need to steal people to have something very basis and normal, which is time. And this question of complexity, it's on the level of content itself, because in this contemporary system of audiovisual industry, it's very complicated to work with complex narratives, with ambiguous stories. So it's one point, but the other is how to deal with this complexity in the era we are in. So that's why we decided, because we have all these challenges and questions, who has the right to tell the story in archives, what is essential actually, how to recognize what is essential in some kind of archives, who will judge it, how we can interpret it. Question of interpretations is also something which, like individual filmmakers, it's not, they need some kind of support and broader discussion how to deal with this. So that's why because these are just a couple of questions we are dealing with, that's why we decided to initiate research, which is focusing on ethical dilemmas and AI, connected with AI and law problems, which Miriam will present more.
So the new research supported by Technological Agency of Czech Republic is focusing on ethical dilemmas, copyright, and the development of an AI prototype for critical and innovative work with archival materials. We are the team of our great cooperators. Jan Motal, he prepared the first slide, and he will be able to answer all of your questions, and I will not read his paper. Lucie Cizek, our great colleague, defined the challenges of the current situation on the stage of AI and the implementation into our work. And we also connected with the great mind of Petr Hora, who has developed a lot of projects based on semantic search before, and now he is expert in AI. And he's working on basically the access to classifications of privacy-aware metadata, and he would like to determine the optimal model architecture for visual historical archives. So here are his proper tools. The key techniques of prompt templating are agentic search, RAG, and semantic search, which will be based on LLM model. It means that if you put the prompt in your archive in various languages, it will be able to answer your prompts in other various languages. And the semantic search within the visuals will be also trained based on our ethical research. This is his slide, and I'm not technical, but if you are having a lot of questions regarding the programming, please address me, and I will just send him your questions, and we will respond them after the panel.
So I think it clearly explains in which situation we are, because we really need an expert team to collaborate and this collective wisdom qualities together. Because this question, how to understand the archival heritage, how really to read the archive for filmmakers could help solve this type of research, because we are trying to search for example, similarities in these archives, similar motifs, also similar aesthetic motifs, subjects which are repeating, but also detecting the fragilities and sensitive materials. So this is the research team, and
the AI archive will be then published open source, so you can use it within 3 years. We are now cooperating with private Century Archive of Jan Šikl, also with National Film Archive. I saw Matěj Strnad sitting here in this room, and also with Marek Šulík and his family archives. And we have the plan to cooperate in the next year with Archivio Aperto and Bologna Biograph Film Festival and BO2B. So we will somehow test the model also on the other various archives.
And we would like to invite you to our project's presentation, which will be tomorrow at this theater in the main stage. And also we have call for entries for our lab, and we are also searching for collaborators and people who could participate in our research of needs of filmmakers dealing with fragile ethical subjects. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do I need to use a specific microphone or no? No? Okay. Thank you. Hello, everyone. For the first time in my life, I wrote something, so I will read, so bear with me. It will be no more than 9 minutes. It will pass very fast. So, what is giving a voice? This is the title. When you don't have the whole message. Ethical questions on using deepfake for missing audio footage in documentary. Now I will read who I am. Hello, everyone. My name is Andreea Lăcătuș. I'm a filmmaker, PhD scholar at the National University of Theatre and Film Bucharest, and festival director at World Romania. I am humbled, I didn't need to read this, but I will, to be part, because I can say it myself. So I'm really humbled to be part of this conference and having the chance to meet and to hear the speeches, and I can't wait for the others. So I'm here more to discover than to talk. I'm no expert in artificial intelligence, but I'm deeply interested in how we can create safer spaces in the filmmaking processes and how we can build partnership and contexts for self-representation with our protagonists. The case I will introduce now brought me closer to the topic of using AI, especially deepfake. I'm now producing a documentary podcast series on Asian workers' experiences in Romania. Ji.hlava, journalist, has been documenting the Sri Lankan community for almost 2 years, and we are in the early stages of developing the project into a film also, a documentary film. Romania, known for its big wave of work-related migration to the West, became in the last years a place where immigrants come, with more than 250,000 work visas issued between 21 and 24 for South Asian workers. This exposed limits in bureaucracy, racism, and social understanding. What brought Julia to the stories were a series of written confessions and live recordings she got from inside the community. At first, she didn't look at these materials differently from any type of research, notes, or elements to better understand the situation. But then I appeared, and this is why we now have few strong, important stories with missing pieces. Part of the conversations were just written. Some recordings are of unusable quality. Important pieces of the narrative are practically lost. Few people who agreed to be part of the projects are unreachable at the moment, or we lost touch with them at all after they were sent back to their countries. Yet the stories need to be told, as they are part of a collective effort to make the community and its needs visible. At the moment, one of the main issues, beside procedures, is there is no NGO or human rights experts directly and actively involved in the problem of South Asian migration in Romania. So while brainstorming, I will get to the AI right now. While brainstorming about which solutions we would have, what first came as a joke, later on became a source of even deeper dilemmas than we thought. The idea of using deepfake for the missing audio footage. So if you never had the experience of hearing your cloned voice, you can pay a few dollars and have this unsettling experience. Because while our experiment didn't go far enough for us to have access to the finest tools, we still tried a few available and paid for the one considered the best. We tried out 2 scenarios, one for anonymous testimonies and one for filling in gaps in voice material. First scenario. I asked for a voice based on real text testimony describing the following. Sri Lankan man in his 30s, living in Romania in the last half a year, in a very bad situation at work as he might have lost his work permit because of negligence from his workplace owner. He shows dignity but is exhausted by the process. It might be that the machine didn't take the word Sri Lankan into account because the result was how I imagine Socrates explaining the strange situation he is in. Perfect English, perfect phrasing, deep breathing between the lines, radio interview style. When writing South Asian man inside of Sri Lankan, things changed. Socrates vanished, giving place for all the biases and cliches one can imagine about a South Asian person. I lost What remained in place were the deep sides between phrases and the correct pauses following grammatics. Then I tried with a woman instead of a man and discovered how the generated emotion changed this time. A desperate, almost crying voice tried to convince the listener. The sight was gone, rhythm faster, and the generated emotion intense. AI bias is not a new topic. Literature notes ways in which it affects perception, but what was surprising to me was the intersectional level of the reproduced stereotype. The difference of what it perceived as being man, South Asian man, and South Asian woman. If the first was just naming facts, the next one had some sort of alienation, and the last one, the woman, was directly desperate with the same prompt. On the second instance, we fed the program with the real voice, asking it to replicate the written messages with the voice that we fed them. While the similarity was striking in tone and texture, the ability to build phrases according to real-life grammatics and expression was, to say at best, low. No matter the settings we tried or the versions, alpha, multilingual, or flash, it was impossible to obtain something other than a return to a correct phrasing, even when we changed punctuation. The amount of emotion in the discourse was at random, and some sort of permanent directions were needed, but there was no place or option for that in the tool that we tried. Another thing we observed was the reflex of correcting accents when reading. Even when voice inflections were cloned in some phrases, the language became easier to understand, and the words were properly pronounced. But let's say we could be able to fix this. By generating one phrase at a time, by changing prompts, by using only short phrases and only when necessary. Where would be then self in self-representation? I uploaded my own voice and then prompted the same text I recorded myself saying for the voice sample. It was a simple text about where I am from, reading like now, but more natural, what I am doing and where I live, and it became one of the worst experiences of hearing myself. Even if I could tell it was me, something from within made it clear it was not. Pronunciation, the tendency of making the English accent better, and the lack of the invisible, hard-to-explain things that I think make me, me. So the message was real. It was written in my words, yet I can't recognize the representation of it. As many argue, for the public it might be hard to tell the real from AI-generated voices. After working a bit on the prompt, I've sent generated voice messages to the people who are closer to me. None said anything was strange. Turning back to some of my first sentences, in creating safer spaces, in our brainstorming we also discussed the fact that asking people to recreate moments that were deeply emotional to them could be triggering. But wouldn't trying to create them with AI be even more when given back to them? Wouldn't this partnership and co-creation process we propose be betrayed with the best of intentions? In this case, I explored literature trying to reach a sort of conclusion and decided we will try to use only what we have and fill the gaps, presenting the facts and information in alternative ways, even if we might lose some of the emotional impact. We will put first the relation we have with the people who trusted us with their stories, even the anonymous ones, with the risk of losing parts of these stories. For the people who can't give their consent anymore, we would not use any kind of technology and no other person, actor to recreate their voices, as the agreement was based on the material that existed at the time. If by any chance there is a line or word that could be vital to the story and there is no better option, we would signal the line as being generated. So concluding, it was fast, I told you, my first real encounter with AI turned me back again to how I generally see consent, ethical relations, and responsibility towards subjects. As I don't have a strong opinion in general when it comes to vulnerable groups, individuals, and topics, I think decisions should be made not only for the film or cultural product, not even only for the benefits it might have for the group, but also for what it means or could mean for the people involved. Thank you very much. I told you, 9 minutes, 9 minutes, thank you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I'm Marta Matrowska-Samek. I am broadcasting from Krakow, Poland, so quite near to Ji.hlava. And I was conducting a quite big research project funded by Foundation for Polish Science to do a kind of diagnosis how the film market in Poland changed due to the triple transformation. That's mean digital, green, and social. So this presentation is based on the small part of our project, and we were asking our filmmakers in Poland, mainly producers, how the AI impacted their work, and how they see this development as a challenge or as a threat or as an opportunity. So I'm going to present this short research, and this is a kind of helicopter view for all the Poland, as we had overview of entire market. So the research question was mainly to understand how these changes affect the creative process, how the producers perceive this innovation in their work, and how they implement the AI into creative process, on which part or which stage of the production is the most affected by AI. And looking into the data collection, looking into the theory, we based our research on co-creation theories, co-intelligence theory, and the gradual disempowerment. So this is the Czech work, and theory of change we are using. And looking into the human AI collaboration, we referred to the Molic term of co-intelligence, and the book Co-Intelligence: Living and Working with AI, which was published 1 year ago. So this was the framework we referred. And also looking into risk and threats going to the affecting an entire society, and also the global structures, because the gradual disempowerment by AI also indicated that AI system can progressively erode human influence in different spheres, economic, culture, and even states and political system. We discussed this with our responders. And also the theory of change framework was used to identify the long-term goal or social change the producers implementing AI are aiming for, and what changes need to happen along the way. So this was also the theoretical background we use. Looking into the research methodology, we started with the desk research, which is the last point in the presentation. And then we have a quantitative data collection. In Poland, we have 170 film producers registers in the Polish Chamber of Film Producers. And we succeeded to collect 35 responses to our questionnaire. So it was quite a big sample because it's 1/3 of the population of the producers in Poland. So we reached every 4 film producers, and then we had qualitative content based on individual dependent interview and focus group interview we conducted during our project. And this was only the part of the entire project, which was quite complicated and big. But I just selected a part of the research for this presentation. So if we look into the research finding and the key discoveries we did, our Polish film producers are predominantly positive and optimistic with elements of caution, which was quite surprising for us. However, looking into the process of the film production, they see a lot of opportunities in cost saving, in automatization, and do not really are afraid of the change. So they are quite open to the changes in the pipeline. The dominant emotions were enthusiasm with excitement, and a little sense of hope and opportunity, because struggling with limited budget, they see quite a big opportunity to save money using AI. They have a large acceptance to and openness to collaboration with AI. However, they stress that AI requires human supervision. Looking into the deeper discussion on text and data mining, they are not really analyzing the process, how the algorithms are trained, and to which extent the author's right, the ethics can be affected. And there is a lack of strong negative emotion in Poland, what was quite positive. However, this can change because the research were conducted last spring and summer. So the situation with the AI slope and all the SORA advancement just are observed last month. So it could affect the attitude we identified. The dominant perception show the AI as a collaborative partner. We have nice have some citation really proving that people are counting on AI as extra power for film production. Yes, and what was really a kind of a discovery, a lot of producers and also the scriptwriters during the interview, they said that AI is a good starting point if you don't have precise idea how to start and how to deal with the white page. Yes, so this is a kind of a trigger to just start a discussion, to just start a combination of on the concept. looking into the use of AI, they see AI as an assistant tool, and they count that that AI can replace them in the repetitive and tedious tasks. We had no really any feedback on how AI can replace film producers itself, because film producers treat themselves as a specific profile of filmmakers who are connecting a lot of assets and do not see AI being a kind of able to replace. Yes, and the main opportunity in AI is budget optimization and increased efficiency. We had also the question about the attitude toward democratization of the industry, because looking into the work of AI tools, we wanted to tackle the topic of the feeding algorithm and changing narratives by the AI, but it was not the main issue they replied, and looking into the social process, they were rather looking for a democratization and access to the resources for the smaller players than really the change of the narratives by the algorithm fitted with Anglo-Saxon content and so on. So there was no deeper understanding how the AI tools can impact the industry on the social, cultural way, but they were mainly focused on the economic aspect. Yes, and looking into the opportunity for efficiency, democratization, and new audiences, they identified opportunities in building or reaching new audiences and enhancing distribution. So this was their observation how the AI impact the industry. The script writers are quite afraid of AI in having in mind that AI is fed by their work and AI can replace them, and using AI can cause a lot of legal issues because they are not sure exactly which work was used to train AI, and they are afraid that they will repeat someone's work and they can be proceeded for any indemnization. So this was the concern of the screenwriters. However, film producers had more general overview of the legal uncertainty dealing with this, how they sell fantastic tool. Yes, so they really pushed the responsibility for the authorship to the creative staff, which used AI or not used AI, and not really taking in consideration their own responsibility, as they are collecting all the rights during the production process. still the human control over the AI tool is paramount. So this emphasis was visible in a lot of interviews, and also the need for adaptation and learning. Producers acknowledge the necessity for the industry, especially younger team members, to learn how to work with AI tools. They do not see the threat to replace the younger team members by AI, or they do not raise it in the interviews. Okay, so perhaps it will be good to show some quantitative results, because we ask also how the AI is implemented in the Polish film industry, and mainly the AI is used on the development stage and then on the post-production stage. There is no really big involvement on AI on other stages of the production. So yes, if we look into the catalog management, into the broadcasting or cinema distribution, they are the fields we can really. These are the fields we can still have a lot of opportunity to involve or implement AI. However, the AI is used for special effects, for animation, for post-production, for pre-production and photography, and project development. Looking into the technologies supported by AI, which are used on the film set, it's mainly drones and camera stabilizers they use. They use this is the algorithm supported by AI for calibration. They use also the general artificial intelligence without naming it, but mainly these are the assistants as chat GPT, and some new tools are used in virtual production and high definition camera. So these are the technologies combined with support of software supported by AI. And looking into the biggest challenge in the near future in film producing, they see the distribution of film works as a main issue, together with the fundraising for independent production. The decision on use on AI instead of hiring humans are really not the biggest issue in the producer's decision making. However, looking into the fundraising for independent production, and looking for this economic struggle, we can discuss if it will enhance some changes in the staff and use of more automatic tools to save production budget. Distribution of film works is a really big issue now on the Polish markets, as we have overproduction of film, and we are competing for the screens. Also with the platforms, but not only the Netflix and streaming platforms, but the platforms like TikTok and YouTube. So this is also the change, the threat we observe in the film industry. Okay. Yes, the challenges and the risk of AI are more or less global, and as also Kat indicated, the list of risks they repeat in some sense in different aspects to the different groups. So first of all, we need for regulation legal issues and the necessity of human control over AI, because we cannot rely on AI, and moreover, the narrative of AI is based on the content the AI was trained. And the problem with the training data for AI is that it's fed mainly by the mainstream Anglo-Saxon content and text. Then the next challenge is impact on critical thinking. So this is the problem of the higher trust in generative AI, and with education, which should teach our youngers and also elders how to identify the deepfakes. And also what we are currently identifying is a threat of pseudo-intimacy. That means that the illusions where the emotional AI simulates empathy and the cognitive AI mimics critical thinking, leading to the first perception of being our friend, yes, and reflecting our emotion. However, we need to stress and to remember that AI has no really the emotion; it's reflecting our own. Also, the risk which are combined with these results and study is the erosion of human agency, emotional dependency, and authenticity.
Marta, can you hear me? I am so sorry to interrupt you, but each of the presentation should have been 10 minutes. So can you just like have some finish line or some finish sentence, and we can continue with other papers. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yes. As the field is changing very much, it needs continuous research and our monitoring, because it's really difficult to keep it without human supervision. Okay. So thank you very much, and yes, I'm ready for the discussion.
So how much time do I have? 10 seconds? Okay, 10 minutes. No, it was incredible research we have just seen. So, and now something different. What's this? Sorry? I would like to speak about technology, and I don't know if this technology works, but yeah. So I would like to start with the question. No, this is Bible. This is for later. But what is agent? Because the topic of this conference and of my paper is creative control, meaning that there is some agency, that there is someone who is in charge. So, because I'm partly philosopher, there will be some philosophy at the beginning. So we will start with a lot of arguments, but the main argument for me is that if agency means exercise of manifestation of the capacity. This is the so-called standard conception of action, that you have agent, for example, me as a human, who acts intentionally. The agency consists in the performance of intentional actions, meaning I would like to do something intentionally and I do it. If I do not have the intention, I'm not agent. I'm just, I don't know what, but I'm not agent. I'm non-agent, to say. So the problem is, if I use AI as an artist, do I have a control over the chain of actions of the major part? Do I have intentional control over what is done in the so-called black box of AI, which is nowadays terminus technicus, that we cannot see what's inside the AI? The solution is that the AI black box does not impede the recognition of the user's control, as users possess the capability for artistic imaginary. When I use the AI, I am the artist because the machine do not know what art is if I do not say it to it. Therefore, it is hardly the problem of the artistic control per se, because I have it, but how can I use the AI to fulfill my intentions? And this control is, for me, the question of who controls the AI. So I'm not here to speak about how to work with AI in a creative way, but who is in charge of the AI. So now, no, come on, yeah. Now the Bible. So this is French apocalypse tapestry from medieval times. Here you can see our future, and I'm using it because my theory I use in my work is based on Jacques Ellul, who is, or who was, who still is in our minds, one of the major theorist of technology in the 20th century. If you haven't read anything from him, let's do it, because his work on technology is really, I think, inspiring even nowadays. He, in his work, he says that you can compare, because he was a theologian as well, you can compare technology to two beasts from Apocalypse. If you haven't read Bible, there are two beasts. One is from sea, one is from earth. The beast from the sea, this one, is the beast of power, someone who is in charge of the power. And it rules the world. And we will go to the earth later. So this is for Jacques Ellul, this is not politics. Because he says that in modern times, the autonomous power in our lives is technology, or he says la technique, meaning that even in medieval times, in ancient times, people used technique to make food, to make some simple machines, etc. But now we are in times where the technology became autonomous, meaning that it rules our lives. If you don't think so, just imagine that all of our public transport, public services, social networks, even this conference is partly run by artificial intelligence or algorithms. And if you still do not believe me, it is about rationality, effectivity, and project logic, and we have seen it in the research before, how producers value rationality, optimization, etc. For Jacques Ellul, this is technology as well, because it comes from some kind of rationality, technological rationality. So this all is la technique. Come on, yeah, so this is the beast of earth. This, I don't know what, lion or something. It looks like Statue of Freedom in a kind, but no, it is not. It's the beast of the earth, which exercises the authority of the sea beast, meaning that it is someone who, in Bible it's false prophet, who is working on communication. So it serves the technology. And for Jacques Ellul, it's propaganda. And he uses the word propaganda in a very general way. It means the means of communication. Propaganda is based on standardization, on effectivity, on, again, on algorithms. And it is not democratic and personal, because it is this large-scale technocratic top-down communication. So propaganda is not only PR and political marketing, but it is a lot of education today. It is a lot of online communication today, and it is based on algorithm. I'm not a mathematician, but I was informed by AI that this is one of the most important algorithms. It is the so-called modularity queue, which is in all of your Facebooks and Instagrams, and it is how the beast operates. The message is formed for a particular echo chamber recognized by this algorithm. If you go through this, you are in some kind of societies or echo chamber, and messages are given to you by the beast. So, who controls the AI? You know it, who controls it. Corporations. So there are a lot of risks which are connected to this. Power concentration, lock-in. The proprietary AI, meaning AI which you do not know how was constructed, is a serious problem. There are many problems we have discussed in previous presentations, like bias, discrimination, etc. But it is labor displacement as well, and the gender. Just keep in mind that women represent only 20% of tech employees, meaning that it is men constructed, the technology. Here, this is from Oxford University research, but the visualization is from New York Times. This is who owns AI? Mostly Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. Then Alibaba, Huawei, and Tencent. You can see that most of AI is not generative AI. It's AI which is used for other purposes. Where are AI data centers, and who is in charge of the AI in the geographical sense? Mostly Western and part of Asia. But as you can see, this is so-called global AI divide, meaning that these countries and people in these countries are in charge of how AI will work or is working. And as you can see here, we in Europe, I know that you are from the whole world, but now we are in Europe. We in Europe are ruled by the beast from United States. I mean corporates from United States mostly, and partly from China as well. But United States and China are the major or dominant power centers for AI. Another big problem are machine bias. Covert racism, stereotypes. We know, and you have heard it, that AI works with dialects and minorities in a very weird and biased way. And of course, surveillance and big data exploitation. When you work with ChatGPT, if you do not change it in the settings, the ChatGPT is training on your creative work. So your creativity is used by the corporation, to say it. So, get the power back. How to do it? Okay, so I think that we should change our mind in the way that AI is not a problem. The problem is how we deal with AI. And in this economical, social, political sense of this problem, I think that we have the solution, and we have it from at least 1970s, 1980s. Before 1974, all software, in fact, was public domain, meaning that there were no licenses, no proprietary software, as we know it now, and it's not fun that it was Apple who started this closing of the field. GNU project, you maybe know it if you use Linux or something like this, means that the free software doesn't mean that it's cheap or free of price, but that the software should be free. But what does it mean for us? It means that these examples are open source generative AI, which I use in my work and can be used for movies. and all of them are controlled by community. They are open, and the community in a democratic way is working on to overcome bias, to overcome the inherent power relations inside. So the last one is that another problem is ecology. The problem that when you use clouds in San Francisco or whatever, you are exploiting the nature. But when you code locally, when you use it in your computer, yes, it takes a lot of time and etc. But it's safer because you have the control over what is inside, and it cuts the network energy and platform overhead. So this is the philosophy, this is my main argument, and I would like to end with this QR code. If you would like, you can check my last short experimental movie where I used the AI, and I use it in a way that it failed. I originally tried to use text-to-voice AI to speak a poem by one Arab poet in English, but it started to say something like mumbling, and it was really funny. But it resembled waves, it resembled the ocean, so I used it in a dialogical way, and you have heard it at this platform in some of the presentations before my, that you can work with AI as a partner. So I tried to do it in this work. Thank you for your attention, and this is a lot of literature.
So thank you for this enriching contribution. Now we can move on to Q&A session. So it's time for you to ask questions. I think we will have a space for 1 or 2 questions. And so I would like to invite our guest on the podium with me. Please, if you have a question, raise your hand, and my colleague will bring you a microphone. You can think about it while we are preparing the stage. Great. Matěj? So give us just a second. Yes, so you can ask.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the great presentations. My name is Jonáš, and I'm a curator at the National Film Archive in Prague. I don't have a question per se, more of a comment to Honza for his last talk. I just wanted to make sure that when you're using the term open source, I think it's very problematic to use it in the context of AI, because what we have in AI is not really open source tools, but open weights, because you listed many examples of the open source tools we can use, but in most of them you actually don't see inside the code. There are black boxes, the same way the commercial ones everybody's using, like ChatGPT or whatever, those are black boxes as well. And obviously there are many, many advantages of using the open weights, tools that you can actually then tinker with the weights, do post-training, all this nice stuff. But like the main problem of the black box issue is still there. And also with the ecological footprint and everything, obviously you're reducing the headroom when you're not using the servers in California, but the massive toll is still on the training side of the models. So for example, when you're using Llama from Meta, you're using basically like the same amount of water and energy that was used for training the model as if you would be using the online model that Meta actually has. Other than that great talk, I just wanted to make sure that this distinction is clear.
Yeah, that's completely true. Thank you. I had only 10 minutes, but yeah, just to make some note to it. Yeah, that's true, because in the best situation, you should train your own models and do it all on your way. But it takes a lot of time, a lot of machine time, and a lot of your coding knowledge. Yeah, that's definitely true. The black box, the problem of the black box of the AI is there is no solution, because it is how AI operates. If we say that AI is kind of neural networks or something like this, you cannot see inside this, even if you are a big corporation, of course.
Some other question?
Yes, hello. It was very interesting for me to hear that you approached the Honza Šikl's archive. And I was curious, actually, if you can describe, because obviously his series, what is it called, Century something?
Private Century.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting how he extracts and constructs, you know, narrative stories, yes, whatever, you know, working with the archive, with these archives. You were describing, and I understand the kind of constraints of the time, but I was very interested to hear, you know, what were the outcomes of the workshops, you know, where you didn't have a Honza Šikl, but you have an AI, you know, which of the intelligence was, how did the non-Honza Šikl intelligence, you know, treated his archives? Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. We began to use this prototype or this research firstly for a description of the archives, for access for our participants and other people, because it's a private archive, and there is one specific man who is now describing everything, and so it was a starting point, but the main question was really how to understand it, how to work with 5,000 hours of material with this big data, let's say, in the way that we can train kind of questions which we generate in collaboration within this broader interdisciplinary team, to ask the AI this prototype, and it's the base actually of this AI archivist prototype to detect some new possibilities how to approach it. Of course, it's a creative sensitivity of a specific director, but the director knows that he's not able to do everything from this archive, and we would like to have to enable the access and inspiration question from this side.
And maybe just to add, there are not the films using AI within their outcomes. But tomorrow, if you will join us for the presentation at the Future Memory Lab pitching downstairs at 11:30, you will see 5 short films which are like creatively approaching the archive, and they are experimentals or documentaries or shorts or hybrid shorts. Also like exploring drone music and the use of the music within the archives. So this is the creative output when they are using the archives in their own new creative films. But the other part of the research was that we are defining the model which is now helping to sort the data within the archive. And we are also asking the ethical questions, because in the film we are having the material from Honza Šikl archive where the woman committed suicide and her husband just offered the archives to Jan Šikl. And we are having the participants who are developing the film based on this ethical problem. And also the problem of police archives, so with the murderer who is now out of the jail. And we are just developing new films, and this is really critical and ethically really sensible. So we are also working within the development of the AI model to include all of these ethical dilemmas. But this will last next 2 years to develop this kind of model. Is it clear?
Okay, so thank you.